How did voting rights for people with disabilities evolve? Imagine going to vote and feeling confident that your rights are protected and your voice can be heard easily. Over time, laws and efforts have worked to make that a reality for people with disabilities. In the past, voting was often difficult or impossible for many with disabilities. The Voting Rights Act of 1965 was a big step, allowing voters with disabilities to get help from someone they trusted when casting their ballot. They could choose who helped them, but not their employer or union representative. Then came the Rehabilitation Act of 1973, especially Section 504, which said that programs receiving federal money could not discriminate based on disability. This was a major move, but it took protests, including a 25-day sit-in in 1977, to make sure the rules about accessibility were enforced. In 1984, the Voting Accessibility for the Elderly and Handicapped Act made sure all polling places for federal elections had to be accessible. That meant things like ramps for wheelchairs, accessible parking, and voting aids like large print ballots and teletypewriters for people who are deaf. If a polling place was not accessible, voters had to be offered alternative ways to vote on election day. The Americans with Disabilities Act of 1990 was a huge milestone. It made it illegal to discriminate against people with disabilities in all public spaces, including voting locations. This law pushed states and local governments to improve physical access and provide accessible voting materials. Later, the National Voter Registration Act of 1993 made registering to vote easier for people with disabilities. The Help America Vote Act of 2002 went further, requiring all voters with disabilities to be able to vote privately and independently. It also created the Election Assistance Commission to help states improve voting systems and accessibility. Even with these advances, challenges still exist. Some polling places are not fully accessible, and there may be a lack of materials for voters with visual or cognitive impairments. Sometimes poll workers need more training, and voters might face intimidation. Today, the focus remains on making voting easier for everyone. This includes designing accessible polling places, offering different voting methods like mail-in ballots or accessible voting machines, and training election officials to support voters with disabilities. All these steps show how voting rights for people with disabilities have grown from basic assistance to full accessibility. The goal is to make sure every voter can participate independently and with dignity.